Hi everybody, Jana here. Today I'm going to do a new or full moon ceremony called a Despacho. Now this is something that a lot of Indian tribes do, and it literally is an offering to the earth. So if you think about it, when we manifest in physical form, we need the earth's energy to support us. So we want to provide this offering, whether it's for the new or full moon, or maybe it's a seasonal transition, or maybe there's a big challenge or a big decision that you're going through. A despacho is a great way to set your intentions and bring all of the elements together. So we'll bring in the earth elements, the air, the water, the fire, all of the elements, as well as anything that's symbolic to you to support you in manifesting that particular goal. So when I do a despacho, I start with a piece of paper. I just got this 12 by 12 sheet from Michael's, and I drew a circle on it because I'm going to line that with sugar, and I wanted to have that in place so I knew where to draw my circle with my sugar. And then I set my intentions. So with a new moon, obviously we're typically setting our whatever goals we have or intentions to manifest during that cycle. And if you look at my website and each of the posts on the new or full moon, you can get some ideas of what you're trying to manifest by asking some of the question or answering some of the questions related to the journal prompts that I set out there. And then with the full moon, I want to do a release and a replace, because the full moon is a culmination of all of the energy. And so we're going to release any limitations or fears that we may have in achieving that particular goal. So whenever I release something, I want to replace it or reclaim it. So if, for example, I was releasing a scarcity mentality about money, then I want to bring in abundance about receiving all of the resources that I want or need. So I set my intentions, I write them on a piece of paper, and I just set this in the center of my page. I also love using essential oils. So some of my favorites, I love rose because it brings in the highest vibration of unconditional love. If you're looking to release any fears that you may be holding on to, juniper berry is a great oil for that. I also like releasing any ancestor related issues, because if you're going through it, someone in your lineage has probably gone through it too. So let's just clear it all for everybody. So I love using Siberian or Douglas fir. And then cypress is a great oil to increase flow, right? So if we're trying to manifest something, we want more flow in our lives. And I will do this by just, obviously with the roller ball, I'm just going to sort of touch the paper. And then with the other ones, I'm actually going to add those at the end when I have all of my goodies that I'm putting into it. So in this process, really the sky is the limit. This is about your creativity. This is a fun project to do with a group. If you've got a family, engage your kids with it. It's a lot of fun to start gathering the elements that you want to add to your despacho. So some of the things that I have here, I have 3 or 2 resins and then a wood that all help with purification and releasing sort of past issues. So one is called Copal, C-O-P-A-L, and it's a resin that helps with purifying our thoughts, feelings, and emotions so that we're aligned with everything that's for our highest good. I also have some frankincense resin, which is great in helping us see our truth and understanding our higher perspective. I also have these little wood shavings. I shaved them off of a Palo Santo wood, and you can get these online or in a metaphysical store. So I just shaved some of those and put those over here. Another cleansing and purifying type element. I also have some white sage. So I often sage my space with a smudging stick. So I just added some sage here to help. The smoke will help clear away any negativity. And then I want to bring in the sweetness of life. So I also have some sweetgrass, and I just shredded some of that up here. You can also add flowers to this. So the flowers that I have here are jasmine, which I love the smell of jasmine. It's very inspiring and uplifting to me. I'm trying to bring more abundance in, so I actually picked some wild orange flower blossoms, and they smell so amazing, and I want to add those to the mix. I also have some cedar wood. So cedar wood is really good at engaging community and bringing community into our lives. I picked some rosemary, which smells amazing and helps with the purification process also. And then I have some juniper berry leaves. And then I just have some tea leaves from my favorite oolong tea that I put in here. And then last but not least on this, I have some chocolate. So with your Despacho, Mother Earth loves sweetness. So we're actually going to start this whole process with a ring of sugar as well as some other elements. But I added some chocolate. You can bring in candies. I've got some candy sprinkles I'm going to add to it. And we also want to bring the sustenance of life in. So I just have some rice that I'll add to it, as well as some quinoa. You could add nuts. You can add, I've got some crystals here. You can add rocks to this. Again, it's bringing in all of the elements. So I'll have a feather that I'll put in this for my wind element. I also have some sand. This sand this sand is from Bali, but I also have other sand. This is from Lake Tahoe, and then I have this sand that's just locally from here at Pismo Beach. And then I always finish off my entire process with celebration, because this is really about celebrating you and what it is you're trying to manifest. And so I have some confetti here. It's kind of hard to see. I actually created this confetti. I had some little punches that I got from the craft store. So I have a star punch, I have a squiggle punch, and I have a heart punch. And so I just punched some of those to add and create celebration after. Now, as you're going through this process, with the new and the full moons, I do post which essential oils that I feel relate to it. If you're attracted to specific essential oils, by all means, please use those. But you can use the ones that I recommend as a guideline. You don't have to use all of them, but maybe pick one or two of your favorites to integrate into this process. And then the final thing, well, I guess there's a couple more things. So other thing I got, a sand dollar. We have sand dollars on our beach here. So I have a sand dollar to add to that to bring in the water element. I also brought in some coins. So these are foreign coins that I've got when I've traveled that I'm going to throw in there just to bring in abundance and to honor my desire to travel more. And I think that's everything. But again, the sky is the limit. You can really add whatever you want. You can have nuts in there and just anything that you feel attracted to during that full or new cycle, so that you really are honoring what you're feeling inside. Now, one other piece that I do integrate into this is I bring in key numbers. So the number 11 is very symbolic to me. My life's path number in numerology is an 11. And so when I was cutting up my elements and bringing things together, I was very mindful at bringing in the number 11 so that I'm honoring that piece of me and integrating that into my entire process. So if there's a number that speaks to you, if there's other elements that speak to you, again, have fun with this. Be creative. You can have pictures that you add to this. Now, after we create this, you're going to fold it up, wrap it up, and I tie it with ribbon. And then there's a couple ways that you can really honor this process. One is to create a fire ceremony where you have a little fire going and then you put your Despacho right into the fire. And that fire is purifying all of your intentions. It's carrying your intentions out into the universe with the smoke. Another way of doing it is you could actually bury it in your yard or somewhere that is significant to you. So again, be playful with this, have fun with it, and really engage your creativity. So we're going to start with sugar. And I just took a baggie and I cut a little tiny corner off the end and I put the sugar in here. But I wanted to be able to pour it out in a way that I could create the circle and the 4 directions. So we're looking at north, south, east, and west. And I do have a PDF that will be along with this that will show if you actually want to do the ritualistic prayer with the 4 directions and call in those 4 directions to support you in this process. It's a very simple thing that you can go through. So I'm going to start by adding my sugar. There we go, sugar to the outer circle. Slow but sure, there we go. Have to get into a rhythm with everything. And then I'm drawing the 4 directions, north and south, and east and west. And then this really is however you want this to be. It can be an art project. Just remember that at the end you're going to fold everything up and it's going to get destroyed, but however you want it to be. So I'm going to start with the jasmine flowers, and I'm just going to layer those in here. You can move things around as you see fit. And we'll put one there in the center. And then I have my orange blossoms, which they were just coming out. There's only a few that are actually fully out, but maybe I'll integrate these in between the jasmine blossoms. And wild orange is one of my favorite oils. I love it because it brings in abundance. If you think about orange trees, they're overflowing with the fruit, and it freely gives to everything and everyone. And so wild orange is one of those uplifting, invigorating smells. It helps us feel more inspired and like we can really achieve anything. Now, since the number 11 in numerology, you would add the 1 and the 1 together, it's actually a 2. So some of the things like the frankincense, I only have 2 of because the frankincense resin is kind of expensive. So I'm just going to place those on my east and west locations, and then I'll do the copal, the north and south. And then I'm going to bring in my tea leaves and just add those here in the middle. And of course we want chocolate, because who doesn't love chocolate, right? And chocolate is an adaptogen, so if you are feeling tired, then chocolate can lift you up. If you're feeling overly active, then it can actually calm you down. So I have my rosemary in here. Rosemary is so great for the respiratory system and helping us breathe in life. And then I have cedarwood. Cedarwood oil is the oil of community. It helps draw together and help us feel a part of the bigger picture. And then I want some sweetness, so let's call in some sweetgrass, as well as some sage to release any of our limitations, anything that no longer serves us, that it's getting sent away with the fire. And then we also have the juniper berry leaves. And then I have my Palo Santo wood. And then let's bring in our sustenance of life. So we have some rice here. Mother Earth is hungry. She really wants this rice, right? And then I have the quinoa. And again, bringing in seeds and nuts and, you know, anything that you feel inspired by. So I'm going to add my sand. So my Bali sand is because I love to travel and I love to go to places where there's amazing water to play in. And this sand is from Lake Tahoe, another one of my favorite places to go. And then finally, sand from the Pacific Ocean. And I think those are all of my elements. I do have a crystal here that I'm going to add into it. And your crystals, you can actually set your intentions with that crystal and breathe blow your intentions into that crystal. So if you're looking for an opportunity to release something, or maybe there's some healing taking place, you can breathe your intentions into that crystal and it becomes programmed with it. So crystals are so amazing to support us in the healing process. And then finally, we're going to do some celebration. Let's add some purple sugar. So some sugars that I had from Halloween. And I just love the color purple. It's a color of royalty. It's a very high vibrating color on the spectrum. And then I have my confetti, because we are really celebrating this process and honoring who we are and why we are here, right? Because as we heal and grow ourselves, we give other people the permission to do the same thing. I'm going to finalize this by dropping in my essential oils. So again, looking on the chart for whatever new or full moon that we're going through, you can pick an oil or two from that, or whatever ones you feel inspired to use. So with this one, I'm going to add a drop of cypress just to increase the flow, and a drop of juniper berry because it helps release any of the fears, any frustrations in getting things moving, and then white fir for any and all of my ancestors that have had any thoughts, feelings, and emotions that have stopped them from achieving their goals and dreams. And then I have my seashell I'm going to add to the middle, and then my coins. I have a Chinese coin. These ones are from Costa Rica. I've got a peso from Mexico. And obviously when I burn this, not everything is going to burn, right? And so we just have to really honor that and know that through this process that there is a shift that's taking place. There's a transformation. There's an alchemy between the fire and the elements that is supporting whatever needs to be transpired. So if there's issues related to scarcity or money or fears of traveling, whatever it is, that this helps in releasing that. And even though it's not fully burned, in the long run, it's actually going to support you. So I'm going to tie this up, just fold it in half and then in half, or actually probably third and third, and then tie it up. And then I'll show you what the finished product looks like. Then we're going to move down to the beach and show you what the fire ceremony actually looks like. So get your despacho together and you can actually go through this process with me when we go down to the beach. I'll see you soon.